Ahoy! I am going to be giving you some tips on packing based on my experience last year as a fellow in Espiritu Santo. First of all, I want to say that, or suggest, that you pack loose fitting pants. I packed a lot of the, like, parachute pants. I don't know what they're called, but they worked really well because they were thin material and they're also loose. And so when I was up there dancing and when it was just really hot in the classrooms and in the assembly room, it kept me a lot cooler than the days when I wore jeans. So I think this year I'm going to stick to wearing just loose-fitting pants every day in the classroom because it certainly is a lot more comfortable, and the more comfortable you are is better, obviously. So yeah. Other items that I suggest packing are adapters for the outlets. My roommate and I, we had no problem charging our cell phones and just plugging them straight into the wall. However, when I wanted to charge my laptop, I actually had to borrow another fellow's adapter because the outlets in the wall, they didn't have the third little plug-in area that the laptop's cords have. So that's another thing to consider when packing, is that you'll have the appropriate adapters for your electronics. And then another, as far as electronic item that you might want to bring, would be a thumb drive. You're going to be doing a lot of sharing as far as documents and maybe even songs, preparing for assemblies. And so having a thumb drive will really help exchanging that media between either the leaders or the other fellows. That is one thing I didn't bring last year, so we had to keep emailing each other our documents, and there were some points where we would realize we would need a document and we wouldn't have Wi-Fi at the school, so we had to improvise. So having a flash drive definitely would have saved us in those situations, and that's why I'm going to pack one this year. Another item that is I want to pack more of this year is candy. I brought a bag of candy last year, however it was gone in the first couple days, so I definitely want to bring more bags this year. And it's great to use for even like bribing almost in the classroom, getting them to participate. You'll say, oh, I'll give you a piece of candy, and then they're more apt to volunteer, obviously, like most high school students are. Other items that I brought last year were just like little American flags or American bracelets and pins from the dollar store, and you can get a pack of 10 for $1, so it's pretty inexpensive, and they loved them last year. They were trading pins and bracelets, and they really loved them, so I think it's pretty cheap. If you're able to do that, just go to the dollar store because they have all the 4th of July stuff right now. Other items that you might want to consider bringing could be even items like chalk or any art supplies that you think you may need, because sometimes it's much more expensive in Brazil, and they may not even have those items in Brazil, and so if you don't even get to use them in the classroom, you can always give them to the students afterwards as well. And they loved, like last year when we gave them the beach ball or any of the supplies we had, they loved that. So that is another thing I would do. My suggestion to you as well is that when you pack your carry-on, you want to pack at least 1 or 2 days extra of clothes in there, just in case anything happens to your checked bag. You'll at least have some supplies for the meantime while you are getting your checked bag back. I actually this year will be packing 2 things of deodorant, because last year I packed 1 and it had melted or something happened to it, so after my long plane ride I didn't have any deodorant to put on and I was feeling pretty nasty. So that is one thing that I'm going to pack this year, is at least 2 things of deodorant. Well, last year I packed a lot of books in my carry-on. I assumed that because I love to read, I packed at least 7 books. I thought I was going to read through all of them. I really only read through like 3/4 of one book. So this year I'm not going to pack as much reading material, and instead I'm going to use most of my carry-on for the 2 outfits, and then I'm also going to pack mostly just stuff for the students. That way when I'm done with the supplies at the end of the month, I can just give them all to the students, and I have more room in that suitcase for souvenirs to bring stuff back. So that's what I'm going to be doing. Let's see, don't forget to pack your binders and your bracelets and sunglasses for the students, obviously. And yeah, last year my checked bag, it got to me all the way there. I had no problems with that, so it was very smooth. However, I was grateful that I had that extra clothes in my checked bag anyways, because it's nice to just be able to change after those long flights if you have the time between the connecting flights. And also, if had anything gone wrong, I would have had that extra clothes, and it's just good to be prepared, obviously. But yeah, hopefully this year goes just as smooth, and yeah, so that's my tips.